Hey folks, welcome back to another Corax and Coffee unboxing video. I'm your host Pete Steele, and today we are taking a look at the Snallygaster Situation, the Kids on Bikes board game, published in 2021 by Renegade Studios. So if you join me at the table, we will take a look at everything that comes in this box. Alright, so here is the Snallygaster Situation board game box. Here's the back. You get a nice picture of the layout and a components list right there. We've got for ages 8+, 2 to 5 players, 45 to 60 minutes. And I have already taken the shrink wrap off of this box, but I do promise you that that is the extent of my exploration thus far. So take the top off here. And right away we are hit with the illustration, much like on the front of the box, these kind of monsters to the side, this goblin looking dude and this wyvern or griffin rooster bad guy, I assume, I don't know. And looks like this is kind of a game master, dungeon master screen of some kind. Alright. And promotional insert for other games. Always fun. Here we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if these are, this looks like scenario setup guides or player setup guides. It's hard to tell, to be honest. But you do get 4 of them. And I'm not going to show you both sides of everything, so you can have something to discover on your own. And then, oh, this fell out. But we have punch boards. And these, let's see, just punch out a few of these here. And these punch out quite easily, and these are double-sided components. I'll show the full punch board again in a second. They punch out cleanly. You can clean them up with a knife if you want to, but it's entirely unnecessary. And these are just you know, good enough, high-quality cardboard components. Not super thick, not super thin. They're great. And you can see this punch board is double-sided. I'm holding one there. And here's another punch board with something missing, but again, more components. Here's the piece that fell out here. It's kind of a map. All right, now we have the, I assume, yes, this is a big game board map. So let's open this up. And it is single-sided. Do with that what you will. You can see essentially the full game board here on display, and yeah, it kind of looks like a a neighborhood with streets. So as kids could bike around in the 1980s. I'm aging myself, but I was definitely at the tail end of that culture of 1980s kids on bikes culture. And I had a couple of older friends in the neighborhood that took me under their wing. So I definitely got more of that kind of fun and culture than I would have, just due to the fact that I was a little bit younger. But that's a nice game board. Okay. Now it looks like we have we've got a rule book here. And an illustrated itemized components list. Game setup, lots of pictures. More game setup. How to play. A whole bunch of illustrations here to help you figure out what you're doing. And more. And more. And even more. So again, this rule book and action icons in the back, kind of a nice player aid. So this rule book is, including the back, is 14 pages. So, you know, you can, you know, this is going to take you more than 10-15 minutes, but it should not take you more than half an hour, probably. So that's not so bad. All right, and we have a double-sided board of some type. That kind of indicates you go from location to location or adventure to adventure with a special ability. Not sure what to make this, but it looks like you only get one, so it doesn't seem to be an individual player aid. And you get another board here with spaces of some type. Cool. And we have a whole bunch of plastic standees. Clear in different colors. I assume the different colors are for players and the clear for NPCs or monsters. Alright. Storage solution baggies. Can never have enough of those. Alright, now we have this miniature, and you can see there is this little piece of foam here tucked behind the different elements of it to keep it safe, which is great, but also makes me wonder how durable these are. I'm going to kind of, yeah, I think you can see that. These are a little wiggly, so be careful with yours if you end up purchasing this game. And maybe we'll just save this little foam piece. Don't know how necessary that'll end up being, but it's this nice fan. These people, totally playable if those little figures broke off, but it would also be kind of sad. Here's another one. It looks like this one is kind of in a sedan rather than a van, and there's one guy here. There's no foam on this piece, and this guy is actually, I'm pushing on with some pressure, and he's definitely sturdier. So I guess they decided they did not need foam to support this one in the packaging, which makes me wonder why didn't they make the other mold sturdier, but I was not a consultant, so who knows. All right. And we have goal cards of various types, it looks like. That's what it says. And you get a whole bunch of these, probably 20 or so, give or take, high teens or 20. And we do have backs. I definitely am getting the impression that I should not give away the farm here. So I'm just going to show a few on one side. And it looks like there are a few different ones and maybe different difficulty levels. It's a little hard to tell, but you get a whole bunch of those. And then it looks like we have two nice size decks of cards, which I'll open up in a second. And we have this blue, excuse me, it's not blue, it's purple to me, storage solution. There's nothing underneath there. Tuck that back in there. All right. And so we have these two decks of cards, and we'll start with this one. And it looks like you have composition note backs with search in pink and lost. I remember biking around with old composition books, so this is quite thematic. And it looks like these are location cards. These lost cards looks like they're definitely indicating different locations on the map. And it'll be interesting to see how this comes into play in the game. So those are the lost cards. And then for the search cards, bullies, right off the bat, okay. High school party, okay, so a dead body, yeesh. Adults. Okay, so these are kind of events. Another bullies, high school party, adults. Okay, so these are, oh, your younger brother. So these are your friendly granddad. People, it looks like. People that, and events, Epic Quest, that impact the game in some way. Sports Quest. Doomed Quest. Wow. I love how this genre is all about kids, but it's also quite dark. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. And others. All right, so nice deck of cards there. And then second deck of cards, which is the last thing we have to discover. Doomed Quest again. So, okay, yeah, you get more of these search cards. Various things. And then flipping it over. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Right off the bat, we have what was very close to the Super Soaker 100, but it's got a bigger thing on the back, so maybe it's the 150 or whatnot. But heck yeah, that art's fantastic. Holy Hyper Hydrator. You get a few of those. Player aids. Okay, these cards are oriented in interesting directions in this deck. So if we look at the player aid, flip it over, you can see the air double-sided, and you can see both sides of the player aids. Going back to this deck, we have ride cards and item cards and more search cards, which you haven't seen yet. Okay, so these cards here are superpowers or bad guys of one type or another. And then if we look at the ride cards real quick, okay, yeah, there's a bike. Different bikes. Oh, I want the Purple Panther. Wish I had that as a kid. Thelma and Louise. Cute. Silver Bullet. The Hawk. All right, good stuff. And then we have item cards. And this is probably what I'm going to be most excited about. Excuse me. Wrist rocket. So dramatic. Cherry bombs. Definitely had those as a kid. Dice Caltrops. Amazing. Dungeons and Dragons rulebook. They worked really hard on this. Tin Can Alarm. I mean, this is just fantastic. Improvised armor. Cards and spokes. Bike lamp. You get the idea. Basket ramp. Awesome. So there are a few other cards there that I'll leave you to discover for yourself, and that is everything that comes in a box of the board game of the Snallygaster Situation. Thanks so much. All right, well, there is nothing like taking off a helmet after a day's work of bike adventuring or monster slaying or board game unboxing. So yeah, that was everything that comes in the Snallygaster Situation Kids on Bikes board game. This game has a bunch of cool mechanics. One of which I want to mention here is that of deduction. And this is kind of a broad mechanic, but in this game, one player will kind of give clues to the other players, even though they're all on the same team, give players clues as to their whereabouts because they're a lost kid and they need their friends to find them. I remember actually doing this for real as a kid, as a child of the 80s. I also remember Super Soakers and writing down secret notes on composition books. So this game is kind of a love letter to me and people of my generation. So if you found that interesting, please do check it out. Also check out our other content on coraxandcoffee.com, including our written game reviews, our podcasts, and our other board game unboxing videos. Please do consider liking and subscribing on this video as well as our others, as well as supporting us on Patreon or our merch store. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy board gaming. I'll see you next week. Bye.